Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So as you guys know, I moved from Seattle, Washington to Phoenix, Arizona a little bit over a year ago. And some of the biggest reasons I moved, I would say number one is climate. I have seasonal depression issues. I haven't run into any of that since moving here. Granted, there have been toxic people that I've dealt with that have created stress, but that's something that can be worked around, right? That's not something unchangeable like the climate. My number two reason for moving here is that things are more fluid here, right? Over in Seattle, people are very narrow-minded. They get into their ways of life there. Number three would probably be the cost of living is a heck of a lot more reachable here in the Phoenix area, right? Not only the cost of living, but the different ways that you can live and work around any barriers of living, right? Let's say it that way. And number four, our timekeeping. We don't have daylight savings time. I'm so glad I don't have to make an adjustment next week. And what really strikes me is it's one thing that some politicians love daylight savings time, right? It's one thing if Let's Go Brandon thinks it's a good idea. Why does everybody go along with it? That's what I don't understand, right? So for example, I teach at Phoenix College. I don't know if Phoenix College, well, certainly we interact with students who are completely remote, right? Some of them probably live in areas that have daylight savings time, right? But Phoenix College is not going to listen to that, right? Similarly, even if you're in a state that has daylight savings time, right? I actually tried this when I was working at Washington Technology University. COVID had just happened, and our pay got cut and all that. And I learned from my favorite financial advisor that everything is negotiable, right? I love watching Dave Ramsey, and he always talks about negotiation. And I kind of ran out of stuff to negotiate about. I had a remote work. I had students that I loved. I kind of ran out of stuff to negotiate about. It was March, and I wanted to negotiate. Hey, how about? Wait, was it March or the spring one or the fall? I can't remember. I was like, can we just stay on standard time and not adjust the hour and let the students know that instead of coming at 6, it will become their 7, right? Something to that effect. And I thought it would get it. I didn't expect to get it, but I wanted to have a discussion going between my boss and myself, right? To see if he agrees or not with it, to see the logistics of it, just to kind of throw the hook out there, right? See what's going on, right? Unfortunately, he completely did not understand what I was trying to say. It took me like 15, 20 minutes to even elaborate on that what should have been a simple concept, right? That's the most. It's one thing to not get my wish. I totally did not expect to get that, but it's another to not to have somebody look at you thinking you had 3 heads, right? Anyways, it didn't go as well. But you know what? I threw the idea out there. I like to think that every time I negotiate for something, even if I don't get it, the fact that the idea is thrown out there is also very important, right? So here at Phoenix College, I've negotiated a few things, and I don't always get everything. In fact, 90% of the time, I don't get what I'm looking for. But just the idea being thrown out there is very useful as well, I find. So I'm going to throw some other timekeeping ideas out there. Now, what drives me nuts is when people say that, we all have the same 24 hours every day, so make the best of it. Well, the thing is, yes, maybe we all do have the same amount of time. Obviously, some people live longer than other people. Some people have better quality of the hours than other people. But let's not get into that. Why do we have to repeat our schedule every 24 hours, right? So let me give you an example. During the pandemic, I found I was sleeping very well. There's a caveat, though. I'll let you pause the video to think about what that caveat was. I was sleeping very well, but not on a 24-hour timetable. I would go to sleep. Let's say it's 8 o'clock tonight, and I go to sleep, right? And I sleep very tightly, and I wake up tomorrow at like 4 in the morning, let's say. And 4 in the morning, it would be a great time for me to wake up. I love getting some exercise, and I like it when it's still dark out there. I go for my morning walk and all that, and I have plenty of time to prepare for I got a class at 10 o'clock tomorrow, right? And I teach that class, and I got plenty of time. I usually love to do intermittent fast. I won't eat until at least like 2, 3 in the afternoon, right? So that'll be good. And then let's say I have some other activities that I want to do. Tomorrow's Thursday. There's a board game meetup. I might program some computer games, right? If I were not living with so many roommates, I'd probably make some bismuth art as well. And then by 10, 11 o'clock, I'll be exhausted, right? I'll actually crash when I hit the pillow. And I'll have a pretty great 27-hour period, right? The only problem is that it's 27 hours, right? But why is that a problem? If more people would live life asynchronously, right? I think people would sleep a whole lot better. We wouldn't complain about there not being enough time. Our roads would be a whole lot safer. People aren't rushing around to go from A to B. It just makes me wonder, can we abolish the 24-hour cycle somehow? Maybe not if you're a college professor, right? But if you have a more or less asynchronous job, I can't see why that would not work, right? Even if you worked let's say you worked as a fast food worker, right? Because a lot of people are talking about that. I still think it's possible to do that asynchronously. Why? Because you're going to have so many in a typical city, there's plenty of fast food employees, right? Even if you don't show up on the same time every day, you can probably gather statistics on how many people are going to show up to work, right? Think about it this way, right? Do we regulate the time that your customers can come to McDonald's? No, we do statistics and say how many customers will come to McDonald's at the 8 o'clock hour, and so we need this many workers, right? Why can't we do it on the employee side of the table as well? Right? Just a thought out there. I mean, I know this is not going to happen overnight, but I love throwing little nuggets of thought out there. Now, the other timekeeping change I would implement is, right now as I speak, a lot of fast food workers and other workers out there want to have a 3-day weekend. Now, my biggest pet peeve, and I've been championing this idea since I was in 6th grade. See, the reason I want a 3-day weekend is because I want a 3-day weekend. It's not because I want a 4-day work week, right? And I first noticed this when I was in 6th grade. We would take a 3-day weekend for Memorial Day, for Labor Day, for Martin Luther King, or whatever it was. And then I would go back to school and it would be a 4-day week, and I would be like, oh, that's such a waste. I'm up for a 5th day of school. I just need that 3-day weekend. And then it hit me, why can't we have a 3-day weekend and still work 5 days, right? It would be the best of both worlds, right? Your calendar could look something like that, right? I call it E for extraterrestrial day, right? Because our days are named after the stars, right? But why not? The other thing I would love to change is that we're coming up to a new year, 2024. People love to make New Year's resolutions. There's always a lot of excitement. Quit smoking, lose weight, quit gambling, what have you, right? Just save money, invest in bismuth. And unfortunately, by January 3rd, they're smoking away, they're gambling away, they're stuffing their face, and they're spending money on crap instead of bismuth. You get the idea, right? And it makes me wish we could have a new year more often, right? And so maybe a reform of how long the year. The other benefit of making the year shorter, let's say we made the year 138 days instead of 365. The other benefit is that the same holiday could fall in a different season every time around. Right? You could celebrate your birthday in different seasons of the year, right? You could celebrate Christmas in summer sometimes. Sometimes the 4th of July could come with a winter snowstorm, right? I just think that would be more adventurous, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.